Have you ever wondered why two people can go through the same painful situation, but come out completely different? Two people can experience rejection. Two people can lose a job. Two people can experience heartbreak. Two people can face failure. But somehow one person rises while the other slowly gives up. Why? What makes the difference? Is it luck? Is it circumstances? Is it the opportunities they had? Maybe sometimes. But there is something deeper. Something that happens quietly inside a place nobody else can see. The battlefield of the mind. Because before your life changes on the outside, something must first change on the inside. Your thoughts. The conversations you have with yourself when nobody is listening. The beliefs you carry about who you are. The stories you repeat about your past. The words you speak over your future. Because whether you realize it or not, you are becoming the person your thoughts are creating. Your thoughts are like seeds. And every day, whether you know it or not, you are planting something. Some people plant seeds of hope. Some people plant seeds of fear. Some people plant seeds of faith. Some people plant seeds of defeat. And eventually, those seeds begin to grow. Welcome to Selah Chronicles. Today, I want to have a conversation with you. Not a lecture. Not a sermon. Just a conversation between two people sitting down and talking about something that affects every single one of us. Your thoughts. Because maybe you have been wondering, why do I keep repeating the same patterns? Why do I always expect the worst? Why do I struggle to believe something good can happen for me? Why do I feel like I am behind in life? Maybe the answer is not that you are incapable. Maybe the answer is that somewhere along the way, your mind started believing a story that was never meant to define you. Let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first conversation you have? Before you check your phone, before you respond to messages, before you step into the world, what do you say to yourself? Do you wake up thinking, I am grateful. Today is another opportunity. Or do you wake up thinking, I'm tired. My life is not where I want it to be. I'm falling behind. Nothing ever works out for me. And maybe you don't say these things out loud, but your mind hears everything. Your heart absorbs everything. Your actions follow everything. There is a saying, watch your thoughts for they become your words. Watch your words for they become your actions. Watch your actions for they become your habits. Watch your habits for they become your character. Your life is constantly being shaped by what you allow to live inside your mind. Psychologists call this the power of self-talk. The way you speak to yourself influences the way you see yourself. And the way you see yourself influences the choices you make. Think about someone who believes they are worthless. Even when opportunities come, they may reject them. Even when love comes, they may push it away. Even when God opens doors, they may convince themselves they don't deserve to walk through them. Not because the opportunity wasn't real, but because the belief was stronger than the opportunity. Sometimes the greatest prison is not the situation around you. Sometimes the greatest prison is the mindset inside you. Let me share something with you. There was a season in my own life where I struggled with my thoughts. From the outside, everything looked normal. I smiled. I showed up. I interacted with people. But inside, my mind was constantly fighting battles nobody could see. I would compare myself to others. I would look at where people were in life and question my own journey. I would think about mistakes I made, things I wished I could change, moments I wished I handled differently. And slowly, without realizing it, I started creating a version of myself based on my failures instead of my potential. I was allowing yesterday's disappointments to introduce me to tomorrow's possibilities. And maybe you understand that feeling. Maybe you have done the same. Maybe you have allowed one rejection to convince you that you are not worthy. Maybe you have allowed one mistake to convince you that you are a failure. Maybe someone spoke something negative over you years ago, and even though they forgot those words, you have been carrying them every single day. Someone said, you will never amount to anything. You are not smart enough. You are not beautiful enough. You are too old. You missed your chance. And somehow, their voice became louder than God's voice. But I learned something important. The thoughts you repeat become the beliefs you live by. And the beliefs you live by become the reality you create. Not because thoughts magically control everything, but because your thoughts influence your decisions. And your decisions influence your direction. The Bible understood the importance of the mind thousands of years ago. Romans 12 verse 2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Notice something. It does not say, "Be transformed by changing your circumstances." It says, "Be transformed by renewing your mind," because God knows something powerful. A renewed mind creates a renewed life. Sometimes we pray, "God, change my situation." And God is saying, "First, let me change the way you see yourself in that situation." Because if God gives you a blessing but your mind is still trapped in fear, you may not know how to receive it. If God opens a door but you still see yourself as unworthy, you may stand outside afraid to enter. Imagine your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed. Now imagine planting a seed every single day. I am not enough. I always fail. Nothing good happens to me. I will never recover. What kind of garden will grow? A garden filled with fear. A garden filled with insecurity. A garden filled with hopelessness. But imagine planting different seeds. I may be struggling, but I am growing. I may have fallen, but I can rise again. My past is not stronger than God's purpose for my life. I may not see the whole path, but I trust the one who does. What begins to grow? Faith, courage, peace, hope. Your circumstances may not immediately change, but something inside you begins to change. And sometimes the first miracle God performs is not changing your situation. It is changing you. Let's talk about something that many people struggle with but rarely admit. Sometimes the hardest battles we fight are not the battles happening around us. They are the battles happening within us. The battle between faith and fear. The battle between hope and disappointment. The battle between who we are today and who we believe we can become. And one of the most dangerous things about negative thoughts is that they often disguise themselves as truth. They don't always sound like lies. Sometimes they sound reasonable. I'm just being realistic. I'm just protecting myself. I don't want to get my hopes up. I've been hurt before. I'm just accepting that this is how life is. But sometimes what we call being realistic is actually fear wearing a different name. Sometimes what we call protecting ourselves is actually preventing ourselves from experiencing something beautiful. Because fear does not always come screaming. Sometimes fear whispers. And if you listen to it long enough, you start building your life around it. You stop applying for opportunities because you already convinced yourself you will fail. You stop trusting people because you already convinced yourself everyone leaves. You stop dreaming because you already convinced yourself dreams are for other people. And slowly, you begin shrinking your life to fit the size of your fears. But can I remind you of something? You were not created to live a small, fear-filled life. You were created with purpose. You were created with gifts. You were created with possibilities that have not even been discovered yet. Every person carries a story about who they are, a story about what they deserve, a story about what is possible for them. And many times that story was written during our most painful moments. Maybe you experienced rejection when you were younger. Maybe someone you loved walked away. Maybe you failed at something you deeply cared about. Maybe you watched others succeed while you felt stuck. And somewhere in that pain you started writing a story that said, I am not chosen. I am not lucky. I am always behind. I am not enough. But here is something I want you to remember. A painful chapter does not mean it is the end of your story. A difficult season does not mean your entire life will be difficult. A mistake does not mean you are a mistake. A rejection does not mean you are rejected by God. Sometimes we allow one moment to define our entire identity. But God does not see you through the lens of your worst day. He sees you through the lens of His purpose. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Notice God did not say, For I know the plans I have for you when everything is perfect. He did not say, For I know the plans I have for you when you never make mistakes. He said, I know the plans. Meaning even when you are confused, God is not confused. Even when you feel lost, God still knows your direction. Even when you cannot see the future, God already sees what is ahead. Your thoughts may tell you, it's over. But God says, I am still writing. Your thoughts may tell you, You have wasted too much time. But God says, I can restore. Your thoughts may tell you, you are too broken. But God says, I can rebuild. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to believe negative things about yourself? Someone can compliment you 10 times, but one person criticizes you, and that is the voice you remember. Someone can tell you, you are talented, you are beautiful, you are doing well, you are making progress. But one person says, you are not good enough, and suddenly that becomes the loudest voice. Why? Because sometimes we have trained our minds to search for evidence that confirms our insecurities. If you believe you are a failure, you will collect every mistake as proof. If you believe nobody loves you, you will ignore kindness and focus only on rejection. If you believe you are not worthy, you will question every blessing that comes your way. Your mind has a powerful filter. It looks for what matches your beliefs. That is why changing your thoughts is not just about thinking positive. It is about replacing false beliefs with truth. Because positive thinking without truth can become empty. But thoughts rooted in truth create transformation. God cares about your thoughts. He cares about what happens inside your mind. Because your thoughts affect your peace, your confidence, your relationships, your decisions, your future. Philippians 4 verse 8 gives us a powerful instruction. It says, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, think about such things. This scripture is not telling us to pretend problems do not exist. It is not telling us to ignore pain. It is telling us, be careful what you allow to dominate your mind, because whatever dominates your mind eventually influences your life. If you constantly feed your mind with fear, fear will become your companion. If you constantly feed your mind with comparison, comparison will steal your joy. If you constantly feed your mind with regret, regret will steal your present. But when you begin feeding your mind with faith, faith begins growing. Let me ask you a serious question. Who are you becoming because of the thoughts you think every day? Not the thoughts you think occasionally, the thoughts you repeat. Because repetition creates belief, and belief creates action. A person who constantly thinks, I can learn, I can grow, I can improve, I can overcome, will approach life differently from someone who thinks, I can't, it's impossible, there is no point trying. The difference is not always talent. Sometimes it is simply perspective. Two people can look at the same storm. One person sees destruction. The other person sees an opportunity to become stronger. The storm is the same. The difference is the lens. And maybe today God is inviting you to change your lens. Maybe He is saying, stop seeing yourself only through your wounds. Stop seeing yourself only through your mistakes. Stop seeing yourself only through what people said about you. Start seeing yourself through my eyes. I don't know what thought has been controlling your mind lately. Maybe it is the thought that you are behind in life. Maybe it is the thought that you wasted too many years. Maybe it is the thought that you will never experience happiness again. Maybe it is the thought that your best days are behind you. But I want you to hear this clearly. A thought is not always a fact. Just because your mind tells you something does not mean it is true. You can acknowledge a thought without accepting it. You can say, I am having the thought that I am not enough, but that does not mean I am not enough. I am having the thought that I will fail, but that does not mean I will fail. I am having the thought that nothing will change, but that does not mean nothing will change. Your mind may be a battlefield, but you are not powerless. With God, you can learn to take control of what you allow to live there. So the question becomes, how do we actually change our thoughts? How do we stop allowing fear, insecurity, and past pain to control the way we see ourselves? Because let's be honest, changing your thoughts is not as simple as waking up one morning and saying, today I will only think positive thoughts. Life does not work that way. Some days will still be difficult. Some mornings you will wake up and feel tired. Some moments will trigger old wounds. Some situations will challenge your faith. But transformation happens when you learn how to respond differently. The goal is not to never have negative thoughts. The goal is to stop allowing negative thoughts to become your identity. Step 1. Pay attention to your inner conversation. The first step is awareness. You cannot change what you refuse to notice. Start paying attention to the way you speak to yourself. Would you speak to someone you love the same way you speak to yourself? Think about that. Would you look at your friend and say, "You are a failure. You will never succeed. You are not good enough. You should just give up"? Probably not. So why do we sometimes speak to ourselves with so much cruelty? Why do we show kindness to everyone else but become our own biggest enemy? Your inner voice matters. The words you repeat internally become the environment your soul lives in. Create a place inside yourself where hope can grow. Step 2. Replace lies with truth. Every negative thought needs to be challenged. When your mind says, "I am not enough," replace it with, "I am still growing and God is not finished with me." When your mind says, "I have failed too many times," replace it with, "My failures are lessons, not my identity." When your mind says, "I am alone," replace it with, "God is with me even in seasons where I feel unseen." Because you cannot defeat a lie by simply fighting it. You defeat a lie by replacing it with truth. Psalm 139 verse 14 says, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well." Do you understand what this means? Before anyone had an opinion about you, God already had a plan for you. Before someone rejected you, God already saw your value. Before someone criticized you, God already called you His creation. Your worth was never supposed to come from people's approval, because people's opinions change. People's feelings change. People's acceptance can change. But God's love remains constant. One of the biggest mistakes we make is allowing our past to control our present. We allow yesterday's pain to speak into today's opportunities. We allow old disappointments to predict future outcomes. But your past is a teacher, not a dictator. Your past can explain you, but it does not have permission to define you. Maybe you made choices you regret. Maybe you trusted the wrong person. Maybe you missed opportunities. Maybe you spent years struggling with things nobody knew about. But hear this, your story is not over because of what happened to you. Some of the greatest stories in the Bible were written through imperfect people. Moses had a past. David had failures. Peter made mistakes. Yet God still used them. Why? Because God does not search for perfect people. He transforms willing people. Faith is not pretending everything is okay. Faith is choosing to believe that God is bigger than what you are facing. The Israelites saw giants and thought, "We are too small." David saw the same giant and thought, "My God is bigger." Same giant, different mindset. Same challenge, different perspective. Never underestimate what a mind filled with faith can overcome. Can I speak to you personally for a moment? Maybe you clicked on this video because something inside you has been tired. Maybe you have been carrying thoughts you have never shared with anyone. Maybe people see you smiling, but they do not know the war happening in your mind. Maybe you have been questioning your purpose. Maybe you have been wondering, will things ever get better? Will I ever become the person I dream of becoming? Will God really come through for me? And today I want you to remember something. Your current season is not your final destination. Your mind may be telling you, nothing is happening. But God may be saying, I am preparing you. Starting today, be intentional about what you allow into your mind. Before you start your day, speak life. Your words may not change everything instantly, but they begin changing you. And when you change, the way you respond to life changes. Proverbs 23 verse 7 says, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." This verse reminds us of a powerful truth. The direction of your life is deeply connected to the condition of your heart and mind. What you constantly meditate on shapes who you become. So guard your thoughts. Protect your peace. Be careful what voices you allow to influence you. Not every opinion deserves a place in your mind. Not every memory deserves to control your future. Not every fear deserves your agreement. My friend, your mind is powerful. But remember this, you are not your worst thought. You are not your biggest mistake. You are not the rejection you experienced. You are not the words someone spoke over you. You are a person with purpose. Person still growing. Person still becoming. And every day you have a choice. You can continue feeding the thoughts that keep you trapped, or you can begin planting thoughts that lead you toward healing, growth, and purpose. Because your life follows the direction of your thoughts. So choose thoughts that bring life. Choose thoughts that build faith. Choose thoughts that remind you who God says you are. And when life gets difficult, remember, the same God who created your mind is also able to renew it. If this message spoke to your heart today, I want you to do something. Take a moment and write in the comments, "I am renewing my mind." Let that be your declaration. Not because life is perfect, not because every problem disappeared, but because you are choosing a new way of thinking. Also, if you know someone who has been struggling with fear, insecurity, or feeling lost, share this message with them. Sometimes a simple reminder can reach someone at the exact moment they need it. And if you are new here, welcome to Selah Chronicles. This is a place where we talk about faith, healing, personal growth, and becoming the person God created us to be. Subscribe and join this community as we continue having honest conversations about life, struggles, purpose, and faith. Until our next conversation, remember, guard your mind, protect your heart, trust God's process, because the thoughts you carry today are shaping the life you will live tomorrow. Selah.